Hello everyone, I'm Zack the Epic, and today I'm showcasing Aldaran's chess tournament. In my head, this is the chess room. We got tables for 2 people, we got the bartender, the clown, the musicians. This room is just screaming out chess to me. Chess isn't actually in Graal, unless you use furniture somehow. But what you can also do is superimpose the games that were played on chess.com onto Graal. First game we had Radu versus Josh. This little timer symbol indicates that they are playing rapid chess, where they each have 10 minutes to make their moves. And the next thing to note is these numbers here. They're actually the number of growlets these people have, so don't worry about that too much. Let's start this game already. Radu opens up with e4, king's pawn opening. And Josh responds with b5, never before seen an opening. And his piece gets captured right away by Radu's bishop. Josh opens up h-file. Radu brings out the knight, Josh plays f6, Radu brings out his next central pawn, Josh brings out his knight on the right, and then Radu goes for an early queen attack. Josh defends his king with his pawn, and Radu takes the pawn, putting the king into check again. The only thing Josh can do to prevent himself from losing the game is to defend with the knight. So, Radu moves his light squared bishop, and Josh finally gets out his rook, but it's too late. And Radu wins the game by checkmating the king. This king can't take the queen because his bishop is now defending the queen. Josh could have just moved the e-pawn a square, which would block the bishop's path. That way, if the queen just took the knight, then... But sadly, Josh lost this time. Game over. After playing that game, Radu left the competition as well because it was going for too long. I think almost 2 months, I think. Anyway, the next game was Abdo versus Adi. Here's how it went. King's pawn, Scandinavian defense. If Abdo takes that pawn, then the queen takes back, and we see another early queen attack. What Abdo did instead was bring the knight out, and Adi took the pawn, attacking the knight. Adi brings his knight out, h6, and now Abdo does an early queen attack. Adi responds by bringing out his queen as well. Then Abdo attacks the queen. Now Adi can't take this, or else the knight will take the queen. He can't take this, or the queen will take the queen. So what does Adi do? He attacks Abdo's queen as well. So Abdo takes his queen, and he takes Abdo's queen. The game goes on. Adi attacks the bishop. The bishop takes his free pawn, which is just left here. Adi attacks the king. Abdo defends the king. Then Adi attacks the bishop. Abdo goes, alright, let's trade. And then Abdo takes out the knight, which is just hanging there. Adi activates his rook, possibly seeking to attack this pawn here. But then Abdo castles, so he can't do that now. So they finally bring out the pieces on the left side of the board. The knight attacks the b5 pawn, so Adi defends it with another pawn. Abdo attacks Adi's central pawn. Adi takes, and Abdo takes back with the knight. Adi attacks the knight with the bishop, but he doesn't see this. Forks the king and the rook, putting him into check. Adi can't capture the knight, so the only thing he can do is move the king out of danger's way. Abdo takes the rook, sacrificing the knight. Rooks are more valuable than knights, so Abdo has the upper hand in this case. Abdo puts the king into check, and after a minute, Abdo moves his rook up a square to save time. Adi attacks, but it's no problem. Adi moves his other pawn up, possibly in anticipation of attacking the king, any one of these pieces. But Abdo sacrifices his own rook, putting the king into check. If Adi takes his rook, then the bishop takes back, and it's an advantageous sacrifice again, because Abdo still has one spare rook. There's quite a lot more pieces actually. At this point right here, Adi resigns, and Abdo wins the game. There's not much he can really do to get the upper hand here. So that's the end of game 2. Next game was supposed to be Kier against Shayna, but Shayna was inactive during this time, so I jumped in. It's me against Kier. Kier was playing white. First, e3. Vant Kruji's opening. I attacked the bishop, and then Kier resigned. I'm just kidding, but we had some technical issues and the game did end here. So we started again, and now I was playing white. So round 2. I played the Queen's Gambit against Kier, just like the TV show. Kier declined the gambit. She didn't take my pawn. This is the move I usually do as well in this case. And moving on, I bring out my pawn on b3. I don't know what I'm doing. Kier plays g6. Both of us can bring out our dark-skinned bishops now. Bring out the knights. Kier brings out her bishop. I play e3 because I'm too scared to play e4. Kier plays b6. I take the d pawn. Kier takes back. Then I put my bishop there in hopes of attacking along this diagonal. Kier advances a knight, and I check the king with my light squared bishop. She defends it with bishop, and I just leave it there as is because it's well defended by my knight. Kier brings out a queen. I don't really want to capture a queen at this point. I want the game to keep going, so I bring out my queen. And then Kier captures my bishop. Then I take d5, putting Kier's king into check. This king defends of the knight. I push my pawn up, attacking the knight and also this pawn. Kier takes my b2 pawn. I didn't even see this, but the game ends here. I checkmated Kier with the queen, and the king can't take the queen because the queen's defended by a pawn. We played another fun game after that, but that wasn't part of the competition. So next was the final game of the competition, just me and Abdo. I don't start with e-pawn. I played the Karo Khan defense for the first time in my entire life. Karo Khan was a great emperor who played chess. Karo Khan only lost one game in his entire life, and that game was his last. He died on the chessboard. I didn't actually play the opening very well. He easily took my central pawns. We ended up playing 3 games actually, because we weren't satisfied with how the first 2 games played out. So I'll just give you the highlights. I pinned Adi's knight to the queen here, so if the knight moved then he would lose his queen, but he wasn't going to fall for that, so he checked me, and I kept attacking the queen. We traded pieces a bunch of times, and at this point, played around with the knights and the queens a little bit. Right here, he tried to checkmate me. If he moved this queen here, then I would have lost again. So I blocked off the attack, and then he tried to do it again from this angle. I just went back and forth, kept attacking the queen, moving on. Traded rooks, and here I tried to checkmate him, but he defended my move by moving his queen, so if I moved here, then he would have blocked the attack, and we would have just lost our queens. But we ended up trading our queens anyway, and all our other valuable pieces, and then we claimed the board until it's just our rooks. But Abdo lost focus, and I took the rook, and eventually, Abdo ran out of time. But we could have kept going on forever, because I forgot how to win the game with king and rook. So that was game number 1. Game number 2 was also pretty dissatisfying, so skipping to the third and final game between the two of us. This is a beautiful game, a truly beautiful game in my opinion. Close to the ceiling defense apparently. Abdo attacked with his queen early on again. I kept going for the queen. I castled right here, and then I heard a voice behind me that said, "You fool!" I was like, what? It was the ghost of Karo Khan. Abdo took my knight, and I realized, before I castled, I could have done this. I could have put his king into check, and he would have no choice but to take the knight, or of course move the king so I'm safe. He takes the knight, I take his queen. But I missed it. So at this point I was like, oh no, what have I done? I was devastated. Such is war. The game went on. Attack the king, didn't want to trade queens, lost my rook, the king was safe. And I put my queen right here, so we're face to face. But one move later, I moved my bishop here. He moved his king, and then I quickly put my bishop right here. And we both realized, right here, he could have easily taken my queen. I got very lucky. We moved on. He offered to trade queens. I didn't want to trade queens. I put him into check a couple of times, and I advanced my pawn. He checked me, we traded rooks. And then as he was going for this pawn right here, I won the game. In kind of the same way I won against Kier. He couldn't take my queen because it was defended by the pawn. That was game. I think this establishes me as a villain in the Aldaran chess league. I'm like a chess equivalent of a heel, as villains are called in wrestling. If Aldaran ever hosts another tournament like this, I'll be looking forward to being defeated in it. Thank you for watching.